Tony, all of the above, you know.
Yeah. Well, before that, actually,
Yeah.
before you came, I was talking about how Bibi Rexa canceled her show for the Untold Festival.
Yeah.
And there is like, there's a lot of, I would say, expectations towards famous people. They are not expected to cancel and they get canceled.
Yeah.
And you just said that you were sick.
Yeah.
And you were going to cancel.
So, they're human, right? So you understand, like, you're going to have an off day, you're going to have a bad day. And for them, it's a day at the office. Like, you know, because even though it's on a grand scale and there's like thousands of people, it's still technically a day in the office, right? Even if it's what you love to do. But there are just people who I believe are like cut from different cloths. And like,
that's true.
Nasa and I had a show in Chicago and I had like a really bad fever. We were traveling, I think, we had like 16 flights in the past like 22 days. So we were like all over the place. And so Chicago was one of like the last 3 stops. And when we landed, I was dying. At this point, I was done. So we had the choices, like, do we cancel or does Nasa do the full show by himself, or do I like pull my weight? So we went, and thankfully the Americans have like a lovely collection of like pharmaceuticals. So I went to the pharmacist and I was like, yo, I have a show. I need something that makes me not feel like I'm dying. And he was like, okay. He gave me options, and I was like, just put them all in.
Bring them on.
And yeah, I did the show, and I was like literally like sweating, like cold sweating on stage, and like. But you know, you can work that into your material as a comedian, at least. But I get it. Like sometimes, you know, performer who really needs to sing, and you know, I don't know. I don't relate to it, but I'm also not at that level where I have like 30,000 people watching me on stage. On stage.
Yeah.
Because on Instagram, I can film something and then be sick and then post it later, or be in bed and be like, oh, you boy's sick. Like find a way around it. But yeah, I think some people are just cut from different cloths. Like.
Yeah. But what would have like pulled you? Like what made you go on stage that day? You clearly weren't well. 16 flights in how many days? Like that's a lot, and you were just done.
Yeah, I was finished.
You put yourself to the American medicinal, and you put yourself there, and you took everything they had to get out. Like, was it because you wanted to, you know, for Nasser you wanted to be there, or was it because of the audience? Is it like is there a cancel culture thing that you wanted to come back from?
I mean, less of the cancel culture, more of like Nasser and I had wanted to do a show like that together for the longest time. It was the first time I was performing in America. Like I wanted it to be like, you know, like as Arabs when you grow up, you're like America #1. So the dream is like if you do comedy and especially that modern comedy, modern stand-up is built in America, right? So the States is very well like known for building that culture. So it was like always a dream to do it, and I was like, we had 200 tickets sold and then 50 sold on the day of, and the venue can only fit 200. So we had like people moving chairs and tables last minute. So I was like, I really want this to happen. Like, so I guess it was just the deep desire to make it happen. And I'm still at the early stage of my career where like every single thing is so important. So you never want to miss an opportunity. And that was one of the opportunities. I was like, I will perform before I die. Like I'll die on stage after, no problem. So
got you.
Well, actually, I want to talk about Be My Shawarma.
This is ridiculous, by the way. It's like crazy that that it came out in this like production level as well.
I mean, no, it is funny.
Thank you.
It is funny. So what inspired you to create Be My Shawarma?
Honestly, I don't know if you guys remember like the Lahme song, the Saudis and Aoudis, like those guys, they created such a huge wave of content for all of us growing up that like it was always my dream to have that same impact, and Nasser's as well, and so many of us. And then we, like Nasser and I are like infamous fans of Amr Diab and like Wael Kfouri and those like old Arab artists back in the early 2000s. And so that we literally were like, we need to make like a parody of these music videos. And that's why like in one scene you see me in the water, like we're like fully clothed in because there's we just basically did what does Arabic music video culture look like in 2002 and how can we push it a little bit. So in the music video, like Amr Diab is on the beach singing, but he's on the beach. I was like, we should be inside the beach. We should be inside the water. So it's a mixture of like the Lahme song and like the Tabouleh song and those guys, and then the actual real music of these like actual artists, and then we combine them together. We're like, all right, let's create something silly. And we have a lot more that we're planning on doing as well. So
do you not think it also gives a bit of like 90s Backstreet Boy vibes?
Yes, but that's the thing. So that era of like 90s, early 2000s is all inspired by the same like like we were at one point we were gonna put like a beanie and like fold it inwards, like the old school, like, and that was the idea. The idea was to do like major throwback. It's super silly. That's why the lyrics are a joke. The lyrics weren't even written. We got into the studio, and I told Nas, I was like, just make up something as you go. And he's like, what should I was like, I don't know, something about shawarma. And then he started singing about shawarma, and then so nothing was written, nothing was planned. This was one take. I did like the background vocals, and then we recorded it. That was it. Yeah, nothing was written.
That must be very interesting, you know, like you just came in, because like what actually went through your mind while creating this, like Be My Shawarma? Like
Zero was in our mind. We were just, so it started in my house. I had like a microphone and my laptop, and I just plugged it in, and I was like, okay, just sing. I found the instrumental online, looked at it, it was like, okay, you can purchase it. So I was like, okay, cool, does this sound good? Yes. So we recorded it, like the initial take, which was Be My Shawarma. Then we added the, like, I want to give you my bastarma, which is pastrami. Which is just pastrami.
I didn't know what bastarma was. I didn't want to ask because I did the office, you know. So I did it, but now we know it's pastrami.
Bastarma is just like it's really good actually. Like it's basically meat. Yeah, so we just kind of threw in line after line, and then I called a friend of mine who has a studio, MNK Studios, shout out, fantastic facility. And I was like, yo, I need you to help make this song. And he's worked with, like, his name is Milton, and his studio, they've worked with like mega artists. So for us to record in like these like, you know, extremely high quality booths to sing this shit was hilarious. And then the guy who directed it, who was Pedram, he's directed like films as well. So it's people who have like these insane credentials working on like two guys just doing this, which I think is like a little nod to how everyone wants to do something silly and fun. And like, it's nice to take a break from always putting out super high quality work for like a commercial reason, and then just work on something like this, which is...
You know, interesting though, you know, when you pick a topic like shawarma or labna or something, like, is there, or for example, when we post something on Lovin, we know it's going to go viral. So when you're like making about shawarma, is it because you know that it's like something that like the majority of people will be like, I love shawarma, or like, I love like...
It's just because Nasser and I both love shawarma, and he's well known for reviewing shawarmas. So, and I just like to eat, so we're like, why not? I think it would be fun. And then we just thought, like, as time progressed, we're like, oh, we can get to Valentine's Day with this. So we decided to make the release on Valentine's Day.
That's actually very interesting. But in the video, I've noticed that you represent two types of men.
Yes.
Of course. And I'm an Arab, and you know that, of course. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's the toxic Arab.
Exactly.
I love you so much, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
so that was like the... Well, which is funny is because like that's like the Arab love culture, like the Eastern love culture. There's so much like passion behind it, but just because it's a lot of passion doesn't mean it's like the right thing. So one of the lines is like, I love you. If you leave me, I'll kill you, or I'll put a tracker in your car, which is actually a story from a friend of mine. Which I asked, I was like, yo, is it cool if I...
Sorry?
Yeah, long story short, but no, she's okay, it's all good. It's all good. But there's just a joke between her and her ex about like, he's like, I'll put the tracker in your car, and that became like the inside joke of our group for a little bit. And I didn't realize it when I learned like, because that my little verse was literally done one take, never reshot again, and it was just subconscious, so it was like off the top. And then I called her after. I was like, yo, I like subconsciously mentioned this. Are you cool with it? And she's like, yeah, it's hilarious. I was like, cool, thanks.
But you know, like, it is kind of, it gives toxic relationship vibes.
Oh, 100%.
And do you know
100%.
Do you know you're going to trigger people when you post it?
I mean, with natural, you guys know how it is. Naturally, you can sneeze on camera. It's like, in my direction, that's an insult. Like, so everything is cancelable or insult. But it's like, it's literally two guys singing about shawarma. So I don't know how it can get like, I don't know how it's going to trigger people, but there's always going to be someone who can be triggered, I guess. But
because I think it might like normalize that type of behavior. If you're kind of joking about it so much,
I think if two like young Arab comedians who are making a joke about shawarma normalizes that behavior, we need to recheck society as a whole. Because like, if you pin the blame on like two guys in their 20s just making a music video, and it started with them, there's a lot to look at. There's like, it's, you know, I always have a good retrospective view when it comes to like creating content like that. Like, there's only so much responsibility that one can take. But then again, you know, I don't know if we're promoting it. We're just kind of singing to each other. And like the whole point of the song is funny because there's no one else in the shots, right? So it also isolates the conversation to him and I, which is something that we realized midway through. We're like, oh, should we get people? I was like, let's not, because then then it can be like, oh, you're doing it on camera, you're showing people that it's okay to do it, but it's just him and I, and you know, and you can clearly see like it's a commentary on reality as well. You know, it's not like we made this up. This is like stuff we've seen. Like we know people like this. So.
Yeah, Farah agreed.
Yeah, no, because I was telling her, like Casey and I were talking yesterday, and I was telling her like, I don't think that this is actually like right now in the culture, right at this time and age. I don't think it's like that anymore. But back then, maybe it used to be that toxic. Some men can be that toxic still till this day. But it's just like funny, but because as well it can raise awareness. Don't you think so?
There's so many different. I mean, that actually one of the things about my content in general. I do a lot of these characters, right? And some people go like, "These are hardworking people, and you're making fun of them." And I've seen like replies in the comment section. I rarely check it, but sometimes you get so many notifications about the same thing. You're like, "All right, what's going on?" And some people are like, "No, but this guy is literally like this is the reality of situations. Like it's not like he's making this up. Like this is based off true text. So if you find something wrong with it, do something." Like there's an easy thing to do when you just point. But when you're obviously you can make mistakes along the way, but you're also bringing awareness to a lot that goes on. So anyone who's uncomfortable by a thought or something that they don't want to hear or see, you're now kind of putting it in front of their face. So
interesting about putting it in front of their faces, and if we know that it's a behavior, like do we know people? For example, would you have friends or would you know guys who act in that way, in a small way, and would you ever call them out for it? Yeah, I don't think guys would ever tell me.
I definitely call out. I like it naturally like. When you step into comedy, you also don't realize you change a lot, and I realized I became a lot more vocal around my friends, which is funny because I kind of it's not that I'm shaming them, but I'm doing it in a joking manner. I don't point. I just go like, look what this guy's doing, you know. It's just funny, and so I've seen a lot of my friends either not say stuff around me or they've slightly just changed because like this guy's gonna talk about me on stage because I did it to one of my friends. Like I put him on full blast because he's like a toxic. He's not toxic in a harmful way. He's just like he's a flirt. He's a flirt, and he likes to like go the entire way of like selling this whole moon idea of like, you know, I will bring you to the moon, I will bring the moon to you, and then like it comes to like, okay, deliver it, and he's like, my family will not allow me, and like so.
What is his name?
No, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus, but I did it on stage, and like from then on, like he's just now like. When he approaches.
Thank you for calling him out because I feel like that is a behavior that we have met before. You know,
but it's fun. You know, none of us are perfect, but it's fun to like point at each other, like because no one's hands are clean. So and when everyone realizes that no one's hands are clean, everyone's like, okay, cool, we're all in the same boat. And it's fine.
You must have had a lot of
trauma.
Backlash.
Correct.
A lot of backlash, of course, regarding the song.
We got no backlash.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would say that the song of like Bima Shawarma, I'm gonna put a tracker in your car, and if you leave me, I'm gonna kill you. People actually did vibe with it because they understand it.
Yeah, it's so exaggerated, and you see me like crawling under a car, like putting an air tag and falling. Like we have bloopers of it. Like it's also it's a good thing to get your car checked. At all times for trackers, which is like a new thing.
And these Apple tags, by the way, they're everywhere.
But the good thing with Apple tags is that if you have a phone, like an Apple phone, it'll say that something is detected near you.
That's happening on my boyfriend's phone.
Yeah, so that means that there's an air tag around all the time. So check it.
It's not me.
It's not her, guys. It's not Casey. Casey's too chill for that. I don't think Casey would ever.
So if you have Apple to Apple, you're fine. It's if there's like an external tracker, but. Also, I don't know how much backlash we're gonna get because it's still new, right? It's only 2 days it's been out.
Okay.
So maybe I'll come back here with Nasser in March, and I'll be like, "So we got sued."
No, but because maybe like
we'll have a debate.
A guy would be like, maybe because like a guy who is like that, they will feel offended because they're because they're called out.
Yeah,
right?
But good.
For their behavior.
Look, if a guy,
I'll have to remove all my trackers now.
See, if a woman comes and goes like, "I'm offended by this," I understand that because that's like an attack. You know, I get that. That makes sense to me. I'll be like, "Sorry, it's just a joke. I didn't mean to." But if a guy goes like, "What? You're exposing me," I'm like, "You're exposing yourself to me. What you're doing." So
could we, because it's a new song. And we don't have the capabilities to play it over here. Could we get a little live?
I'm so bad at singing. I'm so bad. I did a show on Valentine's Day. I called it Valentine's Vendetta, and I performed it there, and it was a disaster for me. But
it's an auto tune. There's like we have to sing in auto tune.
No, it's not even the auto tune that we need. but it's Nasser who sings most of it.
Okay.
Because it's the same line. He says, "Be my shawarma," and then I'm in the back. I say like, "Give me your baba's number," which, if you think about it, is respectful. Because I go like, "Give me your baba's number," but then it goes from "Give me your baba's number" to be like, "Give me your Snapchat," which I thought was really funny because I don't know many people who use Snapchat anymore. But
You go to Dubai Mall, apparently it's really popular.
yeah, no, I know it's still very heavily used, but like I think a lot of people have like there's a pure disconnect. There's either half of it who uses Snapchat and half of it are like, you're 13, but that's the thing. But I'm trying to avoid doing it live so I don't ruin the song. But check it out.
Go watch it live. Speaking of go watch it live, talk to me about what you guys have planned coming up. Where is this going global, or what do you have?
So
on
we released it on all the platforms: Agami, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, our Instagrams. Our Instagrams don't have the full song. We're directing people to the YouTube a little bit more. To the YouTube. I sound like an old man. I feel like I have glasses on. It's like the YouTube. Okay. So we released it everywhere. We're hoping, obviously. Nasser and I were like, when we were releasing it, we were like, he was like, "Oh, how big do you think it's gonna go? Do you think it's gonna fail? Do you think?" And I was like, honestly, it doesn't even matter at this point. We had so much fun filming it, and the team in Zaroub literally closed down their restaurant for us to film this. There was a guy who gave us like supercars for free. Like we really got a lot of things like out of love and care, and it was one of the most surreal moments to see so many people come in and give us discounts that we could never afford this production. So they gave us so much out of pocket. Like there was so much like love that was shown that I was like, whatever happens, even if the song gets like one view, we had so much fun filming it. We shot this from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. It was one day of 24-hour filming. Yeah, we shot this through and through.
Where is HR?
That is actually really nice.
HR. So, so Zaroub sent us like over 80 shawarmas. Like we were feeding the whole crew. Like we were like when we had so much shawarma left, we just went around like giving everyone shawarma. And these guys were like, "Thank you." We had like literally bags of shawarma. And yeah, so it was. There's so many people involved in it. We used my friend's house to film on the Palm. Like it was really funny. And I was like, in the end of the day, like regardless of what happens to the song, we had so much fun, like creating a child. Like it's so rare to have a childhood dream and then reenact it, like and really have it there. And I said, look, whatever happens, at least this is a journal we can show to our like kids in the future, or we can look back and be like, I can't believe we actually did that. Like,
I mean, your future wife is gonna see that as well.
Yeah, I mean, if she sees that, she's okay with it. I think.
Well, there's competition now.
This is just the surface scratch. There's a lot. The hole goes deeper.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
but it hit 10,000 views on the first day on YouTube, by the way, which is big, right?
I didn't even know that.
So which is like, I think on YouTube that's a big win. It's like
yeah. I mean, my YouTube is so dead. Like I had like no followers. Like the biggest view I got was like 800 views. And that was in like 2 years. So, I'm happy then. Thank you for the news. I didn't know that was the case, but yeah, I don't know what it's on Spotify, but like it's obviously. And Nas and I were laughing because we played it on our car, and when you have the Apple Card, puts the little picture next to the song, and I was like, look, it's us. It's so stupid, but yeah, it's so funny how something so silly can bring you so much joy.
It's so catchy. Yeah. It's stuck in it. It'll stick in your head.
I hope it gets on the radio somehow, like just as a joke, just to prank people, and be like, I want people to go like, is this song really playing? Because there's obviously a huge part of the world that doesn't know that this exists. I mean, 99% of the world doesn't know this exists, or 99.99% I would say doesn't know this exists. So when it seeps into like different little, like imagine you're on the road and you hear this in the radio, you're gonna be like, what the hell is this song? Which is really funny. That's the goal, honestly, to confuse people.
Well, hopefully we're going to help you get there. We've hit 10,000 views on YouTube, and now we're going to get it on the radio. We have come to the end of our interview. So
thank you so much for having me again.
For joining us back. And I'm glad that you got to fulfill your childhood dream.
Thank you. Me too. Just there when I'm like heating him up like a shawarma, that is the dream right there.
Guys, that is Sean Chidiak, a.k.a. My Parents Are Divorced, with his new tune, Be My Shawarma. Guys, have a fabulous weekend. Go take a listen, and we'll see you on Monday morning, same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Bye.